Hey family, and welcome back to the Luk'A'Here y'all podcast. Today's episode is one I've been holding close to my heart because it's about us. Us, the caregivers, the helpers, the ones who show up even when we running on fumes. And seriously, that's us. Picture this though. It's 3 o'clock in the morning and you changing briefs. Juggling meds, trying to keep your voice calm while your hands are just shaking. You ain't ate nothing in 8 hours. You tired, but you keep going. And no one knows you're breaking. But today, we're asking the question, what happens when the helper needs help? I want to start this episode by holding space for that moment. I'm speaking of the one we don't talk about. The moment, the very moment when the strong friend, the reliable daughter, the professional caregiver quietly falls apart. If you ever cried in the bathroom, screamed into a pillow, or just sat in your car too tired to move, this one is for you. But if you got a story that you want to share anonymously, email or DM me. I want to lift your voice up in my future episode. Because what we do, people, what the CNAs do is very, 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 very hard. But we do it and we learn to do it with grace. So let's talk about burnout, okay? Not the cute kind people joke about on social media. I'm talking about the kind that makes you forget your own name, baby. Because burnout in caregiving is real. It's not just being tired, it's actually being empty. But here are 3 red flags that I want you to watch for. Okay? When you feel numb, like you going through the motions but not really there, burnout. You snap at people you love even when you don't mean to, burnout. You forget things constantly, appointments, meds, even meals, burnout. Okay? Burnout is grief without a funeral. It's love without limits. It's exhaustion that sleep can't fix. And the worst part, people will still call you strong. But strength without support, it ain't nothing but a setup. And we're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that no more. So this burnout that we experience, the things that we actually go through when it comes to nursing, needs to be spoke on. It really does. Because if your supervisors and your co-workers don't know that this is going on with you, it could cause a whole bunch of trouble. It really can. Snapping at people going bad for nothing, looking at the supervisor, and every time she says something to you, you rolling your eyes, you ready to go get back to doing whatever you're doing, and that's if you're doing it right. Okay? I mean, it's just the truth. Now, in this field of nursing, we call this emergency response kit for the soul. That's what you need, your emotional go-to bag. Some people don't take the time out to realize this, or some people don't even take the time out to practice this. But it's something that we as caregivers really, really need when you look at it. Okay? Now let's shift, because we're not just naming the pain, we're building tools for it. Okay, I want to introduce you to something that I call the emotional go bag. Just like you pack a bag for a physical emergency, this is your kit for emotional survival. Okay, for real. I'm just going to tell you what's in mine. I got a voice memo from my daughter. Okay, I even have one from my husband. And both of them say, I love you. I listen to him. I used to listen to him faithfully. Okay? And I had this little blue ball with these little bumps on it, like a stress ball or whatever. When I feel that I'm in the middle of my shift and the day's just not going right, and somebody done said something or did something that aggravated me, and things like that. I mean, we all human. I'm not saying we made a Teflon and we don't feel. We all human. You can have days like that. And that's when I go in my car and I grab my ball, baby. I get to squeezing and rolling. Okay? For real. Because, those stress relievers, those are good things. Those are good things to have. And not only do I have one, I have two. I have one that's fuzzy that I can play with. But anyway, that's another story. And I got a quote in my phone that says, "You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm." Let me get it to you again. You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. I have to have that little antidote because I tend to do that. And it's not that I'm the fire, but I try my best to put out little fires everywhere. You know, and sometimes truthfully, you know, it ain't my business. I'm not required to do it, but when my coworkers ask me to help out with a problem with a patient that they have or whatever, I ain't got no problem with stepping up. Now sometimes I step into the lion's den, okay, and it's a lot to quell that patient's attitude, or it's a lot to fix what somebody else did messed up. Okay? Yeah, so just limit yourself on what you do in your 8-hour shift. If it's an 8-hour shift, limit yourself on what you do in your 12-hour shift. But the most important part is to limit yourself. Okay? Yeah. And I got a playlist. I have music. I have a smooth jazz playlist. All I have on it is smooth jazz. Music with no words. To calm down, to listen to take you mentally to another place other than the place you are right now. Okay? And when I feel myself getting real aggravated, I just grab me a pen and a paper, and I'll just write, just one question. What do I need right now? What do I need right now? Which is that's a good question. That is a good question. So for all of you who's been having, this same problem, experiencing burnout or whatever, just get you an emotional go bag. I mean, seriously, what would go in yours? Yeah. So whatever is in your emotional go bag, use it to your advantage constantly. Or just go ahead and make you one. Because you're gonna need it if you're in this wonderful profession that we call nursing. Because there are ways to get through a hectic day, and there are ways to not get through a hectic day. So with that being said, let's just close with some light, okay? If you're in crisis and you are not alone, there are resources out there, real ones. I'll drop some links in the show notes, but here are a few to start. The Caregiver Action Network is one. Now, there are a whole lot of therapy apps like BetterHelp and Talkspace. Those are available to anyone. And we also have local support groups here in Dallas. We have local support groups. So check your area's aging and disability services. And if you need to hear this today, let me say it clearly. You are worthy of rest. You are more than what you give. You are allowed to be held. Okay? Get you some rest. If you have to call in on a scheduled day, get you some rest. Please, just be more than what we give. I know we can't give that much when we're experiencing burnout, but just showing up on this end is a good thing. But if you really experiencing burnout, don't show up to work. Just go ahead and take that day, take a space for yourself, call your supervisor and tell her you need a mental health days. Those are clearly paid for days, or you can use your PTO, but a mental health day, that is a legal thing in the Texas workforce. Now I think it's legal in our Texas workforce where an employee can take a day off for mental health. It's for real. But thank you for holding this space with me today. Next week we diving into boundaries with the house is the hospital. That's my second episode in this series. The house is the hospital, where people is not making rules, but we just gonna add it to the roster. So until then, remember, people, you are not failing. You are feeling, and that makes you still beautifully human. Like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, people, to continue to love each other and continue to watch out for each other. Until next time, I'm Miss Trina with the Luk'A'Here Y'all podcast. Tune in for some informative news. Now, y'all have a good day. Bye.